Hello guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. I seen this story a couple of days ago over the weekend, and I was waiting for more news to come out, which it did. And it's about this woman up here, pictured with this little boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the woman that you see up here is from Fort Pierce, Florida. Shout out Fort Pierce. And this woman that you see up here next to this little boy, her name is Rhonda Paulinese, 41-year-old mother of said child up here, who's 6 years old, and his name is Ramil Pierce. May he rest in peace. Ladies and gentlemen, this woman wound up taking her son's life while trying to perform an exorcism on him to get demons out of his body. If that's not bad enough, this child was dead for days until the school asked the police to perform a welfare check. So he was dead for some time when police came across his body in the house, in his room. And get this, he was wrapped in cloth with only his face showing. Take a look at this and we'll be back with commentary. We'll get right on it.
Now to a shocking story from Fort Pierce, a mother facing charges for allegedly killing her 6-year-old son.
Authorities believe the child may have died during an exorcism. This is Local 10's Janice Fernandez, who has this story for us right now in the newsroom with the details here. Janice.
Eric, Alex, this is such a tragic story. It's a bizarre story, and deputies say the boy had been dead for several days before anyone was notified, and now his mother is behind bars.
From what I understand, this kid just lit the room up and was just loved by everybody. And so they're all going to be having a very difficult time getting through this.
We're learning new details after a 6-year-old boy who hadn't been seen in school for more than 2 weeks was found lifeless in his bedroom. A tragic discovery that has shaken this community, and now his 31-year-old mother, identified as Rhonda Paulinese, remains behind bars this morning after being denied bond Saturday on a second-degree murder charge.
She had a lot of highs and lows during the investigation, from laughing at different times at the scene to crying.
It was around 10 a.m. Friday when a deputy showed up to the home on Bedford Drive after the school reported his more than 2-week absence. That deputy came face to face with the mom before she personally took them to her son's bedroom.
What we did learn in speaking with the mother, she believed she was being told by God to basically exorcise demons out of the child's body. And when the child had stopped moving and basically passed away, at that point, she felt the child had been released of those demons and was waiting for him to basically come back.
The boy, Ramil Pierre, attended Samuel Gaines Academy in Fort Pierce, an elementary school 5 miles away from home. Visibly shaken neighbors and relatives say it should have never come to this.
I'm devastated. I'm sick to my stomach.
I just can't believe this even is real. Like, I'm waiting to hear what really happened.
Paulinese also faces charges for failure to report a death and altering the deceased body, pointing to evidence that shows she was preserving his body. She also posted these photos of her son on her public Facebook page.
Our detectives learned that the mother last spoke to the child on May 18th. That's when we believed the homicide occurred, and that she was responsible for the child's death.
Yeah, it's such a disturbing story. And that mother, by the way, has since been charged with second-degree murder. She did appear in court over the weekend via Zoom from jail, where a judge did deny her bail. But again, this is just such a tragedy, Alex.
Now at 5, we are learning new details in the case of a Fort Pierce mother accused of killing her 6-year-old son. She stood before a judge this morning. Yasmin Jolmis is live in Fort Pierce with more on the mother's first appearance. Yasmin?
Jade, right now I'm standing in front of the home where St. Lucie County deputies found 6-year-old Ramil Pierre dead yesterday morning. As you can tell behind me, there are tons of balloons. It seems as though the community has stopped by, people who knew him and loved him, to drop off these balloons in his memory, some with Spider-Man on them. His mother, as you mentioned, 41-year-old Rhonda Paulinese, is accused of second-degree murder in the death of her son. She made her first appearance in the St. Lucie County court this morning. It was denied bail. Ramil was found again by those St. Lucie County deputies. So they were called to this home here on the 2500 block of Bedford Drive because school resource officers asked for a welfare check. Ramil had been absent from school since May 14th, so for about 2 weeks. Detectives believe Ramil had been dead since May 18th, about 12 days from when he was finally discovered, wrapped in fabric in a bed with only his face showing. The autopsy is being conducted today so we can know exactly how he died, and we're still waiting to hear from officials on that. Now, in an arrest affidavit that we obtained today, the investigators spoke to the very condition of the home. They said that there was plenty of food and water in the home and everything was fully functioning. They also said items in the house were, quote, overly organized to a degree they had never seen before. In a press conference yesterday, the sheriff said Paulinese told investigators that God told her to exorcise demons out of the young boy's body. And when he stopped moving, she thought he was released and would come back. The sheriff also said at times during the investigation, Paulinese would laugh and then cry. So here's a listen from her first appearance this morning.
I'm not sure who I want to appoint. I'm not so sure who I want to represent me right now. Well, it's kind of loud over here. Can you repeat that, ma'am?
I'm going to go ahead and provisionally appoint the public defender.
Then she was then assigned a public defender. Another fact in this case, the sheriff said that first responders came to this very home on May 17th, a day before they believed that Ramil was killed due to a medical issue that the mother, Paulinese, was having. Now, they haven't released more information or details on that, but I have reached out for that. We'll let you know on air and online when we get that. Coming up at 6, I'll have a statement from the St. Lucie County School District on Ramil's death. In Fort Pierce, Yasmin Jolmis, WPBF 25 News.
Ladies and gentlemen, in that picture behind me, you see some of the most iconic figures in horror movies from the 80s, 90s, and beyond. Some people that I do stories on rival what you would see in movies with the carnage nowadays in a free society like America. I don't know what made this woman do this, but obviously something got to be wrong with her. People can blame mental illness. Don't know. They say she had an episode a day before this happened when the child was last seen alive. So I don't know if that plays a part into it. They said they went into her home. Her home was immaculate. Things was put in and organized in a way they never seen. Maybe that had something to do with it. But either way, this is something you don't do to your kids. Another thing is this. How come God always talks to people that kill their children? You ever peep that? God always talks to them and tells people that are not anointed people that he puts the responsibility on them to get the devil and demons out of their own kids. I ain't never had no voice come in my head and tell me that type of stuff. But then again, like I said, I think something wrong with her. It's an absolute shame. Just looking at this story, you know, my thoughts immediately went for the child, the victim. Can you imagine being 6 years old, don't know nothing about life, your sole provider, or the one that you look up to that should be nurturing and caring for you when times are bad, and man's first teacher, the woman, is the one that ties you up in material and performs all kind of weird sadistic acts on you, trying to get a devil or a demon out of you, and you crying and don't know what's going on. And the more you cry, the more they try to get the evil out of you. Told you, kids are being killed for just being kids. I don't know what brought on her saying that he had demons in him while doing some of the most devilish stuff to him, resulting in him his life being taken. Tell you, man, mental illness, man, if it plays a role, is something that really needs national attention. Because this is happening way too much. Ever since I've been doing these stories, I've been like, yo, I have not seen this many crazy people in my life. I didn't know that many people existed committing crimes. I mean, I know people have mental illness, but I mean, at the rate that it's happening now, I don't know if it's bad drugs or what. But I mean, it's a lot going on. And I don't mean to judge, man. She looked like she off. As soon as I seen that picture the other day, I already knew. I said, yeah, that's believable. Man, this little boy, rest in peace, man. God only knows what he went through. And God ain't tell nobody to put him through that. That's the craziest thing. Now, I will say this. When you hear a lot of times of exorcising demons and stuff, a lot of times people think about the Catholic Church, or a lot of times people might think of like voodoo rituals or something like that. I've been looking, well, I ain't gonna say I've been looking. I seen a thing in Brazil that a lot of people out there practice voodoo as a religion, and there are many different sects to that. So I don't know if that played a role in it, but I just thought that was something interesting to share in this whole thing of the exorcising the demons. And man, it's crazy. It is wild. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. You hate doing stories like this where children are getting torn out the frame for just being children, and their defenses against somebody that, you know, has sinister intent. The woman don't have no bond. But I mean, these type of stories got to be told, man. I mean, it makes no sense. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.